All frucked up, making the video for the 7th of July 2025, which was day 64 on the sugar diet. I was out in Vegas, I was at an event and traveling from the event home on the 7th. So I'd eaten at the Pepper Mill and got to the airport and did the necessary things to make sure I stayed awake for the boarding and got on my flight, got home. So energy drinks to stay awake at the wheel. Got home, took a nap, got up, had some salsa and some corn chips. My point with all this is, there's further refinement coming to the diet on this channel. There's going to be more insights once I'm, maybe not caught up on sleep, but in a better position as far as like the quantity and quality of the sleep that I've had. Because right now I just feel like I'm running on fumes. It's just been work, and that's after traveling home from the event in Vegas. So yeah, I feel like I'm burning the candle at both ends. Maybe not burning the candle in the middle yet, but definitely at both ends. So I'm trying to do my best here with the videos, but the thought that I was having when I decided to record this longer form video was when I was sitting in the terminal at the Harry Reid Airport, and I was the only person in the terminal, literally Terminal A. I was the only person in there at that particular hour of the morning when I arrived there on the 7th. And then I started seeing people filter in as it got closer to the time for their flights. And it's a very small subset of the population that's at their ideal weight. And that sounds very judgy. It's not meant to be. It's just an observation. It's like, well, fuck, like I'm overweight, and there's a lot of people that are way more in danger. They're in a much more serious state of, poor health. I don't know. It's just I was feeling a lot of empathy, because it's like, man, sometimes it feels like an Olympic workout, like an Olympic event, just trying to get my socks and boots on. And it's like, how are these people doing it? It was not a judgy thing that I was doing at all. It was just like, oh my God, that other human being, what's their experience like? And it was just more and more people started rolling into the terminal, and it's sad. And then there's a more pragmatic side of my brain that's like, well, if we ever had to defend ourselves, like literally on the personal level, not trying to talk about some doomsday scenario, but like it would be challenging if you were a military recruiter to roll into that particular terminal at that particular moment and then try to select recruits. I'm sure this sounds judgy, but it's just like, how are these people functioning? Because I was seriously struggling at the weight that I was at originally. And, there's people of various builds, shorter stature, more severe obesity. I mean, and to say nothing, well, I mean, obviously I'm talking about their health, but okay, their health is one thing, but how are they feeling about themselves? How are they feeling in that moment? How are they feeling in their clothes? What's their experience like trying to put on their shoes? What's it like trying to clean themselves? I mean, there's so many permutations of this that, I feel like that would literally start to chip away a little piece of a person's soul. Not really, right? I am spiritual. I understand, or at least I think I understand, that the soul is like a whole different thing. But what I'm saying is, getting up and facing the day in pain, obese, probably on a lot of meds, and there's a whole shitload of side effects that come with the meds for hypertension and so on, because I've experienced some of those firsthand. And like trying to hide in plain sight, so wearing baggy clothes and that sort of thing. I get that too. I've been that person. I've worn baggy clothes to kind of hide the details of my body because of issues of self-worth, issues of like knowing I could do better, but wasn't showing up that way in the world at that particular time. Wanting to look my best. Obviously, everyone I think wants to look their best. And so yeah, it was just I was struck by this sense of sadness as I looked around the terminal, because I think most of these people would really like to do better, and they've been underserved or misguided by their doctor, their friends, various, flashy clickbait headlines on the internet, various books. I mean, the thing that really struck me about all of this information, because we're drowning in information. It's not a lack of information. It's a lack of making healthy choices. But I think a lot of folks don't really know what choice to make, because there's never consensus. Never. To the extent that you believe in God, if the Lord Almighty descended from the heavens and came down here and said, this diet, and I'm not speaking about the sugar diet, but if the Lord God Almighty came down and said, I want you all to follow this diet, there'd be people that wouldn't do it, and there'd be others that would do it for a little while and then maybe quit. And so it's not so simple as just applying like a one-size-fits-all approach. And we've got, various reasons for falling off track. We've got various reasons for engaging in self-defeating behavior. The feeling of not good enough, messages from our parents, etc. It's so convoluted and complicated, and it's a lot to unpack. And I think that's highly individualized. And so, yeah, I was just sitting there, and this is not some sort of attempt at, a pun or some sort of humor, but I was just sitting there and looking at the enormity of the problem. And again, I have weight to lose. I have a lot of fat to lose. So, yeah, I'm probably still 70 to 90 pounds overweight. Maybe it's only 60 to 80. But whatever. My heart goes out to these people. Now, some of them, I'm sure if I knew on a personal level, they're like, life sucks, I'm negative, stay out of my way, don't talk to me, I'm going to put in my time at work, and then I'm just going to plop down on the couch with a pizza and stream some television. It's like, okay, well, to the extent that you're open to feedback on that, I'd be happy to provide some. But again, if you don't want to hear it, that's fine. Make your choice. Enjoy your choice. But there are other options. There are other things you could be doing with your time. And yeah, there's still hope, right? There's still hope. No matter how down on oneself that we can be, there's still hope. We just have to make a decision like, nope, I'm sick of this. This sucks. I hate it. And then take that deep breath and be like, well, I hate the situation, but I don't hate myself. And I'm carrying some fat, but I'm not fat. Which probably seems like a ludicrous differentiation to make, but no, carrying fat and being fat, I think are two separate things. And yeah, I don't know that I'm even making any sense, but it was just sad for me to look around and realize that we're all existing on a spectrum of health, and to a large degree, there's a great number of us that probably need to sit down and talk to somebody, and not a doctor that's going to push pills and tell us to walk more, eat less, move more, and then we come back to our follow-up appointment and we're just judged, it's blame the patient. Never mind that we might have received advice that doesn't work, but if we show back up and we're still the same weight or heavier, then it's definitely something that we did wrong. It's not the bullshit advice that we might have received. But yeah, it was sad. And then I get on the airplane and it's like I barely fit in the seat. It's like, how do these other folks do it? I don't understand what that would be like. So, yeah, this comes from a place of empathy, but as I sat there sleep deprived in the terminal, watching people arrive for their flights, I was just like, man. And most of the people that were, height and weight appropriate, they were still very early in life. So, they had youth on their side. And it's like, some of those people, even though they're lean now, or they at least appear to be lean, there's this term called TOFI, thin on the outside, fat on the inside, they could still have visceral fat. Or I'm not sure that's the term for the fat between the organs, but you know what I'm trying to say. But some of those people that look lean, look healthy, in a few years, they're going to be trending in the wrong direction too. So it's like, what do we do about it? And I don't love the sugar diet, even with the starch. I don't love the sugar diet. The starch is very satisfying, yes. But, let's look at when I had the most fat loss. It was when I was in Vegas. I was walking a lot more. I was walking all over Las Vegas Boulevard. It was hot, so I was sweating more. I was drinking more water. I had, fewer opportunities to eat because I was busy. My schedule just really didn't allow for a lot of leisure time at all. It was basically like go to an event and go to sleep. Get up, weigh in, get ready for the event, come back, go to sleep. So more walking, more sleeping, more water intake. And that's when I dropped a significant amount of weight in 1 week. But it's like I was under eating because I was busy. And basically, to my way of thinking, if you go beyond about 72 hours under eating, you're going to start slowing your metabolism down. That's why it's so important on day 4 to eat in abundance. And then you can do, 3 more days of not eating so much. Don't deprive yourself, but apply a little bit of logic, like, well, maybe I don't need to eat like it's a buffet. I am trying to drop the scale weight down. I am trying to rid myself of some body fat. But yeah, it's discouraging because I get back home and my level of activity here is not what it was in Vegas when I'm walking around. So there's more tweaks coming. There's going to be more tweaks in the future, and I'm going to dial this in and optimize my food intake, meal timings, etc. Because my fellow humans, they don't look happy, and I know just at my particular personal fat threshold, putting on shoes and boots can be a challenge. It's just not fun. It's not fun. So to the extent that I'm able to be on here and ramble and maybe improve one person's life, I've got to keep doing that. It doesn't matter if I'm tired. Doesn't matter if I'm grumpy. Doesn't matter if I want to smash my phone with a hammer. Kidding, but I'm a little grumpy right now. So trying to get on track, and yet I'm still running a couple days behind on these videos. So any case, my heart goes out to these folks. Some of them got there intentionally. Others just kind of woke up one day and went like, what the fuck happened? So to the extent that I can be on YouTube sitting in this very scenic basement providing a little bit of insight, then that's what I need to do. So in any case, at some point maybe I'll get caught up on the videos, but until then, keep having a great day, and I'll be back with another one soon. See ya.